The story starts with a YouTuber named Paco hosting a livestream during his school break in collaboration with his classmate named Pretty Rum. She adds that she is new to YouTube and that her content is related to school makeup routines. She introduces the model, Hubin, the protagonist, who was forced to put on makeup. He felt humiliated in front of thousands of people watching him online. Hubin is then asked to greet the viewers, to which he says hi. Paco suddenly threatens Hubin to act more naturally and greet the viewers with a smile. The stream ends, and Hubin is now in the washroom trying to clean off his makeup, which he couldn't really pull out in one go. While washing his face off, he says that he hates the school and questions himself about why his life is like that. He adds that everyone has a purpose in their lives. Paco, with 700k followers on YouTube, earns a hefty amount even after being stupid. YouTuber Rumi, previously stated as Pretty Rum, makes a ton of money for her looks. But on the other hand, Hubin does not have a job, and hence is poor and dumb. After removing all the makeup from his face, Hubin goes back to his classroom, where he's greeted with a kick on his chest and then a stack of kicks after he falls to the ground. Jixi, who kicked Hubin, is known as the influencer kid of the class, a cameraman, and a servant of Paco. Hubin considers him one of the thugs in his class who bullies the students, including him. However, Hubin states that he doesn't have proper fighting skills, but he knows how to mess with people, and he almost makes Hubin lose control of his cool. Jixi is acting cool and godly just because he has Paco backing him off, says Hubin. Suddenly, Hubin hears a scream of joy from Rumi. Rumi thanked Paco, as she earned 300k currency just during the break time due to the stream hosted by him. Hubin was shocked to hear that she had earned so much in such a short amount of time. Paco says to Rumi that her show was a hit, but he wants something in return for that. To which Rumi replies and confirms that he will give him something in return for sure. Hubin and Jixi, who were previously in a brawl, are now surprised by the amount of money that has been earned by Rumi, and coincidentally, their thoughts match those that stated that they should try YouTubing to earn some money. Jixi was already a cameraman. He had experience taking videos, and on the other hand, Hubin was desperate to make some money. Jixi approaches Paco in order to collect some intelligence about how everything works on YouTube. Paco replies that underage people cannot create an account on YouTube, as it requires an adult's account plus verification to create an account on YouTube. Apparently, Jixi has tried to create an account with his parents' ID, but he got caught, so he doesn't have a spare adult's ID. He realizes he could use Hubin's mother's ID to create a YouTube account. He asks Hubin arrogantly whether his mother is still alive, and everyone makes fun of it. This passed Hubin off, which made him lose control once again. Hubin's mother is suffering from cancer, and she's currently hospitalized. Hubin is currently visiting his mother at the hospital. His mother, after seeing him, seems to be overjoyed and can't wait to return home. She also adds that the doctor had told her that she would be discharged soon. However, that's a lie, and Hubin is aware of that. After seeing his beaten-up face, his mother asks him whether he had gotten himself into a fight with someone or not, to which he replies that he would never include himself in a fight, and presents his mother with a smiley face. While returning home, he deposits 300k in the reception for his mother's medicine and hospital bills, while reminding himself about his stressful life and the lives of YouTubers like Remy, who made 300k just during the break. He has a part-time job at McDonald's, a fast food restaurant. He earns around $50,000 for everything he does, which is very remote when compared to the huge amount of money he has to spend by the end of each month. He claims that his life is a living hell. A fellow co-worker, Chor Bomi, whom Hubin claims is a living goddess, approaches him and politely asks where the patties were kept. Hubin then gives her the information, for which she seems to be thankful to him. Hubin seems to be flustered, as it is his first time talking with the person he thinks is the idol of the shop. He also claims that glancing at her makes his day better and happier. Suddenly, Paco appears at McDonald's, and while doing a live stream for his YouTube viewers, he further elaborates his mission for the day to the viewers. Seeing this, Hubin seems to be surprised and hides right away. Paco approaches Choi and asks her to make McDonald's special golden brown Whopper within 30 seconds, or she has to give him her number. Within 30 seconds, Hubin presents the golden brown Whopper to Paco to save Choi from giving out her number to the steamer. Paco seems to be pissed at Hubin for doing that, and Hubin claims that something bad is about to happen to him. The next day, Jeekins moved into Hubin's apartment and started streaming on YouTube. Seeing all the hassle, Hubin regrets his decision to take him in. He was told to prepare food for Jeekins and do other chores. Jeekins was streaming. When Hubin was done preparing food for Jeekins, he took the food and approached him. However, he got his leg tangled up in a wire, which disconnected the display from the monitor, and he tossed the noodles on Jeekins, which got him into trouble. Jeekins then started beating Hubin non-stop. The sense of revenge got triggered in Hubin's, and he fought back. The whole fight was recorded, as the computer was still running and the stream did not end. The next day, Jeekins calls Hubin in a hurry, asking him to delete the video from the streaming platform. However, Hubin didn't have the slightest idea about it. When he opened the app, their video had over 10 million views. Hubin further adds that each view on the video is equivalent to 1 win. After the fight between Hubin and Jixi was uploaded on the internet, all the viewers, including his classmates, saw them. The next day when Jeekins entered his class, all his classmates made evil smug faces to make fun of him. To reclaim his prior glory, he decides to bully a normie student. However, he gets himself beaten up by the kid in the end. He realizes that all his hard work has gone to waste. On the other hand, Hubin visits her mother to ask about her health, and then while returning home, he is burdened with a week's hospital fees, which was around 1.2 million won. The receptionist pities Hubin, however, he gives her the money right away, in cash. It was a portion of the money he earned from the video that blew up on the internet. While walking home, he suddenly receives a punch from Jixi in front of the public. He's screaming at Hubin for uploading the video on YouTube, as it has made him a target in his classroom. Hubin fights back, and a brawl breaks in between them again. Later that evening, Hubin and Jixi are sitting together on a bench, suffering the aftermath of the fight. Hubin asks Jixi to stop acting sad and get real. Jixi then shows him the recording of the fight they got into the public. Jixi recorded the video to prove his specialty in camera angles and experience with content. He wants to collaborate with Hubin and make money together. The next day at school, Paco hosts a live stream to show all his views of his friends who recently blew up on the internet. Hubin and Jixi seem displeased as he only considered them friends because he wanted to expose them in his stream and make money out of them. Priorly, Jixi and Hubin had made up a plan to tackle Paco and make money by streaming a fight between Paco and Hubin, which was about to take place. When Paco begins announcing the laptop giveaway on his stream, Jixi gives Hubin a signal to start the act. Hubin screams that all of it is just a scam, and no one really gets the laptop after the giveaway ends. He also reveals the scars he had obtained from getting bullied by him. However, Paco's phone had died and the stream had ended, which meant his scream was neither heard nor seen. Paco is now pissed off at Hubin and starts beating the living out of him. Hubin was receiving punches one after another, which is exactly what Jixi and Hubin had planned. Jixi is streaming the whole fight between Hubin and Paco, which is now trending on YouTube, and every active viewer is watching it live. He names the content as the time when the bullied student stands up for himself against the bully. Hubin seems to be overwhelmed by Paco, however, his eyes are confident and filled with a sense of revenge. After the fight broke out between Paco and Hubin, the whole school was surprised to see Hubin standing up against Paco, who was twice as big as him. Jixi says that getting beaten up was enough, and he didn't have to take an offensive stance. Meanwhile, Hubin is hoping that the other people in the class will help him and stop the fighting. However, nobody has done so. He's completely scared of his overwhelming opponent. Hubin had no other options other than actually beating Paco at the fight. However, he didn't have any prior fighting knowledge. He remembers all the fighting scenes he has seen in American movies and tries to replicate them on Paco. He goes for a body tackle, which doesn't even make Paco move. Everybody who watched the tackle, including the viewers on the stream, made fun of him. Paco mocks him by saying that he's going to admit him to the hospital right next to his mother. Hubin realized that body weight matters in a fight. Just when he thought that the fight was over, Paco came to him and said that it was just the beginning of the fight and that he had a lot more to suffer. Just as he was about to land a punch on Hubin, a mysterious person asked Paco to cut the crap as he was trying to sleep. Out of aggression, Paco shouts at that person, not realizing that he is completely superior to him at fighting. Kim Moon Sung, aka Super Rookie, is a promising MMA fighter who could easily overwhelm Paco. Everybody envies him. He put an end to everything without moving an inch. After everything was over, Jixi approached Hu Bin and told him that he had failed to win the fight. However, he had gained many fans during the process. Once Paco got back home, he charged up his phone to check for his upload. He soon gets bombarded with notifications from his followers, and he soon realizes that the whole fight at the classroom was recorded and uploaded on YouTube, and he shares the video with every other streaming platform. Paco soon realizes that it is over for him. Jixi tells Hu Bin that fighting is going to be the main content for their channel, and explains to him that these fights have to last at least 3 minutes or more to keep the viewers' interest. Hu Bin realizes that he needs to learn fighting skills and starts searching for different sorts of fighting styles and ways to learn them. He finally stumbles upon a channel that did not have any viewers, but the uploaded content was consistent and made up of knowledgeable, self-taught fighting content. He says that back then, he didn't realize that this channel was going to completely change his life in the future. With curiosity, Hu Bin plays a video. He is surprised to see a man wearing a chicken head to hide his identity. As the video proceeds, the mysterious man starts talking about how, during a fight, if you can't control yourself, rather than wielding your fist, you need to wield your emotions. He further adds that this is the way to hurt someone without actually inflicting pain on them. Hu Bin seemed to be astonished after listening to that. However, he says that the guy was bullying him and this was all a scam. After the truth behind Paco's real self was leaked by Hu Bin and Jixi, he was completely destroyed. He became a BJ, broadcast jockey. Just after his fight with Hu Bin was uploaded on the internet, he quickly decided to shoot a fake apology video, which, however, didn't go as planned, and the viewers got to know he was faking the apology. His angry viewers started to disclose all the scams he had conducted, and a separate page was created to monitor his real-time sub count. The downfall of Paco's career has begun. However, on the other end, Hu Bin's career skyrocketed. People subscribed to his page and looked forward to his future content. He renamed his channel How to Fight. After Hu Bin's content blew up, he went to his prior job to resign as he wanted to focus on his content more. He tells the manager that the money he was earning from the part-time job was not enough to pay his mother's hospital bills. Listening to this, the manager starts mocking Hu Bin, but Choi works in and stops the manager from further mocking Hu Bin. Choi also asks Hu Bin for his number. Everyone in the shop seems very surprised. The next day, he is seen grinning at his phone while texting Choi. Jixi barges in, asking Hu Bin about what he was doing, to which he replies that he was researching their content. Jixi congratulates Hu Bin for becoming the first YouTuber to reach the 100,000 subscriber milestone with just 2 videos. Hu Bin seems surprised. Jixi asks Hu Bin if he has already started learning to fight to last more than 3 minutes, to which Hu Bin replies negatively. Jixi is pissed at hearing that. Suddenly, Rumi appears between them and asks them for a collaboration. She starts to seduce them to collaborate with her. However, Paco interferes. He is very pissed at Hu Bin and Jixi and starts rushing over them while blaming them for his downfall. Paco charges at Hu Bin and shoots a punch at him. However, he manages to dodge them. Everyone is surprised. He realizes that this situation is exactly like what the mysterious chicken head guy had taught in that particular video, where he taught his viewers how to win over emotions rather than engaging in a fist fight. After Hu Bin manages to avoid Paco's first strike, he prepares for his next strike. This time, Paco pours a lot of power into his punch, making it almost impossible to dodge, and launches it towards Hu Bin. Realizing the blow aimed at Hu Bin, Jixi quickly turns on the stream and threatens Paco to leave the class or he will upload the videos to their channel. Paco quickly stops and shouts that he will be back for revenge, then leaves the classroom. Jixi looks relieved. On the other hand, Hu Bin is in complete disbelief that the whole situation went just as the mysterious chicken head guy had mentioned. The next day, Jixi arranged a meeting to brainstorm ideas together. Hu Bin waits for Jixi to arrive while texting Bomi. Suddenly, 2 adults appear in front of Hu Bin and start talking to him like a die-hard fan. However, the situation changes in a few minutes. He realizes that they came to rob him and that there was nothing he could do about it. The man checks his clothes and finds nothing on him. Jixi runs towards the robbers to save Hu Bin from getting robbed. However, he trips and falls on the way. The robbers mock Jixi and say that he is weak. Before leaving, the robbers ask Hubin for his phone so that he doesn't call the police on them. Hubin looks helpless and holds out the phone. When the robbers fled the scene, Hubin asked them to hand over his phone because he had Choi Bomb's number saved on it, but they completely ignored his words. Hubin asks Jixi to call the police, but he rejects the subject and shows him the live stream and the growing viewers. He described the whole situation. Jixi says now is their time to get more viewers and make more money. Hubin is fired after hearing this and tells Jixi that he will fight them. Hubin and Jixi manage to track down the bandits. They are now in karaoke and confronting the robbers. Seeing the camera in Jixi's hand, the mistress asks the robber guy what they should do because Jixi is recording the whole thing. The guy replies that it's fine with him because he is not afraid of them. Hubin, on the other hand, tries to discover the opponent's dominant hand, as taught by the chicken-headed guy. The robber stands up and begins to deliver his first blow at Hubin, but it seems to be going exactly as the chicken head taught him. He is beaten, but thanks to the fighting technique that the chicken head taught him, he is barely hurt. The robber is surprised and starts hitting one after the other. However, Hubin manages to avoid them all by weaving. Weaving, a technique where you avoid punches by moving your upper body. Seeing this, everyone in the karaoke room is surprised, including the thousands of spectators watching their fight on stream. After dodging several hits from the robber, Hubin couldn't dodge most of them anymore. But the hits he received did not hurt him much, thanks to the chicken head guy. Hubin further complains that there was a way to get hit but suffer less pain, but nothing about fighting back. He regrets not watching more videos. After the brawl between Hubin and the guy continued, everything started to get boring. Even though the brawl was intense, the viewers were bored, and the view count started to decrease. Suddenly, a viewer says that Hubin is going to win this fight. Apparently, it was the same viewers who enlightened them about Super Rookie, Moon Sung. The brawl was about to come to an end. The viewers were confused about who was going to win the duel. The same viewers asked Akshay and the others to take a look at the robber's fists. They were swollen and red. He further explains that, after an adrenaline rush is over, the body suffers through all the pain, which in this case was clearly visible. The robber is rolling over the ground in pain, while Hubin enjoys his victory. He is happy to have his phone back and decides to text Chuabomi, and hence the broadcast comes to an end. After uploading their content to their channel, they continued to count their view count. They were surprised to see over 25 million hits on their channel, and they also generated a total revenue of 20 million won. Overjoyed by the overwhelming sum of money, Jixi explains the YouTube rules and regulations in Yellow Flag. He explains that if the content is too sensuous, violent, or abusive, a yellow flag is stamped on the channel, and the content creator can no longer make money from it. After a moment, Hubin and Jixi spot Rumi in the public hosting a broadcast. Unfortunately, Rumi spots them as well and tries to leech viewers and subscribers from them. However, Jixi and Hubin make a run from it and escape Rumi. After running for a while, they stumble upon a clothing store. An expensive jacket seems to catch Hubin's attention. He gets completely overwhelmed by the 1.4 million won price tag on it. Hubin decides to walk off that place, and when he turns back looking for Jixi, he discovers that he has already wasted his share of money on the 1.4 million won jacket. Seeing that, Hubin finds it very odd. Suddenly, his phone beeps, and he receives a notification from Bomi that she wants to meet. Without wasting any time, Hubin buys the expensive jacket and heads over to the place designated by Bomi. After reaching the meeting place wearing the jacket, he couldn't calm himself down. People who were passing by were gossiping about his expensive outfit. Hubin could only see couples in that place, which made him even more embarrassed as he was standing there alone. He decides to start a broadcast and chat with his viewers. The people around him start carelessly gossiping about him out loud. Hearing this, his viewers try to comfort him. However, someone seems to be a little dissatisfied as there wasn't any fighting included in this broadcast. Suddenly, a girl screams that she is a big fan, and Hubin thinks it was meant for him. However, it is meant for Juin, who was standing right next to him. Juin is a newcomer YouTuber with a little over 17k subscribers, which is higher than Hubin's. The viewers of Hubin's broadcast decide to raid Juin's broadcast, but they fail to do so. Overwhelmed by the number of girls in Juin's stream, The men back off and retreat to Hoobin's stream. Suddenly, Jane spots a beautiful lady at the park and asks her whether she would want to do a video with him, but the girl seems to reject his offer. It was Choibomi, and she was here to meet with Hoobin. Choibomi tells Hoobin that it took a lot of time to find him at the place. Coincidentally, they are wearing the same jacket, and Bomi further adds that they are looking exactly like a couple. Previously, he seemed to envy the ensigns. Timid and dwarfed, he couldn't work out, nor could he study properly. He didn't even have enough money. He was ashamed and embarrassed because of his pathetic self. He observed that the school is a place where a weak animal bows to someone who holds power beyond their caliber. Hoobin was perhaps envious of such a character of much greater caliber than himself. But this time he's not envious at all. And it doesn't matter, because he had Choibomi with him. He didn't have to act like a person who knew everything about the person they were talking to, nor fight for the sake of content. He wanted to stop the time at that very moment. While walking together, Hoobin's hand collides with Choibomi's hand, which sends Hoobin to a delusional world where he is the father of Choibomi's children. She would greet him after he'd come back from work, and he would play with his kids. That's the life he dreams of at the moment. Hoobin snaps back to reality when Choi asks why he wouldn't talk at all. With hesitance, he replies that he has been very silent lately. He says to Choi that she would be bored if she hung out with him. Meanwhile, some random people start talking about Choibomi's beauty. They guess that Hoobin was a female, as a short man would be embarrassed to stand next to such a beautiful lady. The strangers thought that their gossip would reach Hoobin's ears. However, they were loud enough to make it to his ears. Listening to them, Hoobin thinks that Choi must be embarrassed to hang out with him. He proceeds to take off his jacket, saying that he wore it without knowing. They order an iced dessert for themselves and reserve a table. Choi proceeds to tell Hoobin that she always wanted to come to this cafe and taste the food in her free time. She also asks Hoobin about what they should be doing at the cafe, to which Hoobin replies that if she didn't have anything to do, she could leave. Hearing that, she seemed disappointed and proceeded to leave the cafe. She said that she thought it would have been fun meeting him. However, he was rather gloomy throughout the time. She adds that Hoobin wasn't like this was Karkout Orc, and that's the sole reason she was so excited to meet him. She further apologized to Hoobin for bothering him. Watching her go, Hoobin finally confesses that he thought she would be embarrassed to go out with him, and he had never talked to a woman before. He also adds that it was his first time in that lovely cafe, and he didn't have friends to hang out with. He further says that he pretended to eat in front of her because he wanted her to stay. He did all this because Choi looked way more beautiful up front. Hearing all this, Bomi is flustered. Things went back to being normal. They are now working down a pathway. Choibomi is on a call with an old friend, an elementary school alumni. Coincidentally, her friend goes to the same high school as Hoobin's. She mentions that his name is Moon Sung. Hoobin is in shock. He never thought Choibomi would be good friends with Korea's most promising MMA fighter. His dream of being the husband of Choibomi now has a major flaw. Choi asks Hoobin if they are close or not, and under peer pressure, he says yes to Choi. However, he immediately regrets saying that. Moon Sung was right behind him, listening to the conversation.